r/AskReddit. What's your dirty little secret? Okay, so one time I was walking around on the beach a few years ago and I wanted some snacks, but I left my wallet in my house. Some hungry young and dumb thought acting homeless was the best idea to get some cash. Well, 20 minutes into me sitting on a curb, some weird guy walks up to me and says, "Hey, you're kinda cute for a homeless guy. I'll give you some money if you do something for me." At that point I wanted to leave, but my dumbass stayed and followed him to a dark alleyway. Then he turns to me and says, "How much to watch you shit?" And I stood there for a few minutes just taken back. I said $500, joking, and he pulled out a stack of cash. So I hate to say this, but I got paid for shitting in an alley, but the food was worth it. 10/10 would be homeless again. I don't like pooping in public places, I'm afraid, and I really don't like not having access to a bidet. I feel like we all deserve a lot better accommodations in the 21st century than shitting next to gross strangers with half walls between us and sandpaper to clean up with. And why are they always so awkwardly quiet? Blast some fucking music in there at least. I'd pay $5 for a premium toilet that is clean, private, and sprays my bum spotless for me. I knew I was going to see this cute guy at dinner, so I picked out a very sexy V-neck bodysuit. Of course, there was absolutely no way to wear a bra with it. I took my chances, but during dessert, I had a major nip slip. It just popped out. I had no clue what had happened until he finally awkwardly pointed it out. I'd been sitting there, eating sorbet with my boob out. Double the dessert for him, I guess. My ex told me to drug her and do with her what I wanted. So I drugged her and played video games all night with friends. She still thinks I fucked her multiple times that night. Not my thing. But she wouldn't stop pestering me about it. Holy fuck the comments. We were playing EverQuest. My ex told me that was her biggest fetish. So I spent a good amount of time talking to shady people to find ecstasy, a drug she was very familiar with. Spent $20 on one pill and slipped it in her drink one night when she was over. Ate her out for hours, didn't even get a piece myself that night. Fast forward to a week later and she's going on about how that was the best sexual night of her life. I surprise her with the truth, expecting her to be thrilled that I've achieved her darkest fantasy. Her reaction? "You drugged me?" "Yeah, you asked me 2 months ago." "Yeah, but I never thought you'd do it." 2 months later we break up and her friends tell everyone I raped her. Fun time. Wife and I are currently separating, and I've been wary because she's spent a lot of time with a guy she knows, including staying over a lot. She has been claiming that nothing is or will happen, that it's the last thing on her mind right now, etc. She came home last Thursday morning with a shopping bag, where she'd picked up some juice for our children on the way home and put some of her own stuff in it too. I thought I'd help out when she went to work by emptying the said bag, only to pull out a suspender belt with stockings attached. So my secret is that I didn't tell her that I found that last week. Something is definitely happening, either with that dude or another. I went through that in 2010, found vibrating condoms in my now ex's purse. Divorced, married an awesome woman in 2014. Unload the cheater and start a better life. 2020 you will thank 2019 you. The dead mice skeletons in a coffee cup in my room from like 10 years ago. I had a pet snake at the time, and my parents and I were going somewhere for like 2 days. I was supposed to feed the snake the next day, and I wasn't sure if I should feed it before we left or after we got back, a day too early or a day late. I asked my father and he said to feed her now. So as I start defrosting the mice in a cup of warm water, my mother comes down and says to feed her when we get back. We're leaving in a few minutes. I, being a confused child, panic because I had it in my head that I couldn't refreeze the mice as they would be bad, but I didn't want them to go to waste. I ended up shoving them in a corner on my dresser and covering the cup with some random stuff. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. I think it would be the shame of being seen if I tried to put them back or throw them out that made me do it. At first, I didn't clean it up because I thought it would smell super bad if I moved the stuff, and I was terrified of being seen. After a while I kind of forgot about it since the stuff it's under is never really moved. And now I don't even sleep in that room anymore, it's used for storage. No one knows my strange childhood shame, and it's just never on the top of my to-do list as an adult. I puked in my friend's staircase after too many shots. Luckily she didn't notice when we left her place the next morning and only saw it when we got back. She and her flatmate discussed who could have done it and whether it could have been the neighbor's dog, but in the end thought it was too much puke for a dog, despite me saying it could totally have been the dog. In the end, they figured it must have been one of the downstairs neighbors who apparently are known for coming home super drunk. A long time ago when I was like 10-11, a cousin of mine, that had 13 plus years, showed me his willy and touched me improperly and also asked me weird questions. I think the only thing that stopped him from raping me was that there was a store nearby and we were in his backyard, so if I screamed someone would definitely come. He never threatened me, but I felt really weird, so I never told anyone about it. For the outside world, I live a simple life as a husband and father. But none of my friends, family or co-workers know that I am in an open relationship. And that I have 2 regular girlfriends with who I have a dom-sub dynamic with. Are active in the swingers community with my wife. And that I go out to another city once every 2 months or so to go clubbing alone and pick up girls. And to be honest, I also enjoy it that they don't know. Does your wife know? Does she do the same? If she does, do you even know about it? What if she is the freak in the relationship? What if your friends and family know about your adventures but you think they don't know? What if they know who kills JFK? What if we all know who killed JFK? What if we all know what is the meaning of life but keep you in the dark like some sort of weird twisted joke? How can you be sure of anything? Yes, she knows. Yes, she has her own dirty things. But she does share with a few friends. And for the rest, I have no fucking idea. I once pissed into a liter of sweet vermouth after hours at the country club I worked at. Then fed the whole bottle, straight-faced, to a jackass customer the next day. He said I made the best Manhattans. I watched the man drink my piss for most of the day. Jesus Christ. Is your name Tyler Dutton? When I was a sophomore undergrad at university studying computer science in Europe, I spent one summer interning at a prestigious software company in the US as a software engineer. One day after lunch I was feeling kind of drowsy and I couldn't get myself to write any code. To waste some time and to wake up, I decided to go to the bathroom for a wank. So I hit the male bathroom, got in a stall and started jerking it. I started slowly and carefully so that I wouldn't make any noise, but I couldn't come like that. So as the feeling started getting better, I got to a point where I was milking my junk hardly and vigorously, with eyes closed. At some point, I'm ready to come, but a co-worker has walked into the bathroom without me hearing him, outside of my stall. I only realized this when I suddenly opened my eyes. To my horror, I realize the wall slit separating the stall door from the stall wall is much bigger in the US than in EU, where you get to keep your privacy in your stall, and my co-worker is looking right through the slit and to me, worried that I was having a seizure or something. In a domination move, I stop jerking off and I look him straight in the eyes, dick in hand. At which point he realized I was just rubbing one out, so he just quickly walked away, took a piss at the urinal, and left the bathroom. I then proceeded to finish. Oh God. So one night on the way back from work I was really feeling it. And I thought, why don't I just jerk off in my car on the side of the road? Now it was pouring down rain that night and I live in the middle of nowhere. So I pulled over and did my thing and whatever. I went to pull off the grass I was in. And oh fuck. I'm stuck in mud in my '02 Honda Accord. So I'm pushing with all my fucking will. BTW, I'm on someone's property and they can definitely see a car with headlights on from their house. So I think I'm gonna get caught stuck. Thankfully with the will of God, I got out. But man, I feared for my life. Okay, I've told this story several times before but here it is again. So basically at my school, each person has an assigned account. Every account works on every computer in the school, leading to one account per person per computer. You do the math. So anyway, one day in class I decided to flood the desktop with this image. I figured, hey, no big deal, I'm on the guest account so when I log out everything will be deleted anyway. So I start copying and pasting, 1 at a time, then 5 at a time, then 10, then 20, then 50, and so on until I reach roughly 7,000. I now have an indomitable army on my desktop screen. By this point, the computer has slowed to a crawl and I can barely do anything. So I think, alright, fun's over, time to log out. Except I realize, I'm not on the guest account. I'm on my personal account. Which means I'm stuck with 7,000 warrings that I can't delete because this computer's running at roughly 0 FPS. I barely managed to log out, but the warrings still live. The Legion lies in wait. If anyone were to log into my account on that specific computer, their prismatic shackles would be loosened, and I'd probably be expelled or something. I don't know. So yeah, that's how I created a warrior race of orange and subsequently locked them away from existence.